What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing. We're back with another video, and in today's video, guys, we're doing the first ever Grand Cross hot takes. So I actually did make this post around 13 hours ago on my YouTube community tab, and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna start a new video series called Grand Cross hot takes. Choose an answer and comment your reasoning if you believe it's right or wrong, and you may be featured in the video. First Grand Cross hot take will be deer is easier to clear in general than bird now. So the reason I put this hot take, by the way, we'll start with that, and then yeah. Oh yeah, but before we actually hop in, make sure to subscribe to your boy Amazing. We're on the road to 25k subscribers, man. We're at 23k at the very moment, 23,200. So subscribe to the channel, like the video if you guys haven't already. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's continue. So deer is easier to clear in general than bird now. I do agree with this. Okay, that's why I put it as a hot take for me. I think deer is easier to clear in general than the bird now, but we can see that the majority of the people, about 80% of people, do believe that bird is actually still easier than deer. So let's actually hear people out and see what they have to say about it. So first comment here from Scarson, that's my raid partner. Shout out to Scarson. So first thing he has to say is, I think it is mostly based on the characters you have built, but there are a few factors that can change it. For the bird, you need to be able to do a lot of damage via amplifier power strike skills on phase 4 stage 1. That is true. And then on phase 2 stage 2, you need to have a taunt unit or a death / abyssal to beat it. That is also very true. Now with the deer, its main factor is RNG. Since every phase will require you to attack in a color rotation, it's very possible to not get the color card that you need, and most of the time you can brute force. It'll cause you to be penalized for not using the right color in the right order. Attack, disable, freeze, corrosion, depending on the floor, obviously. And in the final phase of stage 3, you have to kill him without dropping him below 20% of his max HP. TLDR, deer can be faster to clear than bird if you get the right card RNG. Okay, so that makes sense. And so if you guys look at what I was asking as well, deer is easier to clear in general than bird. So I think the key word that I put is easier. Is deer easier to clear, or is it, you know, is it, how do I explain it? I feel like easier was meant to be as in, you know, not necessarily towards RNG, but more so like the actual fight itself, you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, fair play from Scarson. I think that's a really good point, actually. Deer is faster to clear than bird if you get the right card RNG, but other than that, bird would probably be easier, right? So that's Scarson. Shout out to Scarson. So under Leon Grand Cross, he says, I think both are relatively easy because Trader Melly / Miguelda exists for the bird and Jormungand for the deer, but I would still say that deer is harder because it's so much more luck based than the bird is. So I know a lot of people do say that deer is kind of luck based, and I can agree to a lot of that a statement, but the thing is about like the deer specifically is that you can actually manipulate a lot of your RNG on the deer if you hold onto your cards. You're not meant to, you know, use all your red cards or all your green cards in the fight. You always have to keep one of each card in your hand, you know, if possible, to make sure that you're able to cycle through colors. But that's just me. Like, you know, I personally like to hold on to cards when I do it. So that's what makes it a little less RNG reliant for me, and that's why I said in the post, like, oh, I think it's easier because I do so much more damage, you know what I mean, compared to, you know, the bird. So shout out to Under Leon. Violet Spectre here says bird is easier in my opinion, but I still haven't been able to beat either of them. The final phase just keeps screwing me even with the power strike cards. Makes sense. Let's see the reply. I don't even try the deer because I don't have Jormungand and the damage the deer does. F that. I don't think the bird is in any way easier. I don't think the bird is in any way easier. Okay. So there we go. And then Fallen Visionless says the bird, as long as you have the key units, you do not need to depend on RNG on. And I would say the bird allows you to have more space with experimenting other units. And finally, is a consistent strategy. The deer, even though you might have the key unit for the battle, you'll really depend heavily on card RNG, and you must have strong units for blue, red, and green. So I'd say the deer is more luck based, and if it does not have the consistent strategy that everyone and that everybody can do. I think it does have a consistent strategy. I think the main consistent strategy at the moment is running Freyr, the one, Brunhild, and Jormungand. The thing is with that team is like you don't necessarily need the dupes either on Freyr and the one. I just think like having the dupes is definitely makes runs a lot easier, because having Death Ultimate to bypass these damage caps makes it so that you don't really need to cycle through colors as much. The only time you really need to cycle through colors, like realistically speaking, is floor 3 phase 4, where you need to attack damage, make sure you do one of each color and then follow up with a card after, so that you're able to do a little bit past the damage, because it is fixed damage for the first 3 cards. I can definitely agree to this statement, but I would also say that the deer actually still does have a consistent strategy, you know what I mean? A lot of people just forget that Jormungand is giving 60% all stats, so a lot of the characters on your team, even with less card RNG, you can still keep the all stats going as long as you do one of each color. You know what I mean? So, well, not one of each color, just like 3 cards of a character. So, shout out to Fallen Visionless there. Jack Wood says, I don't have the best experience on the bird because I don't have Miguelda. But just yesterday, I thought I got through deer in 20 minutes with the Jormungand, the one, Trader Melly, and Matrona. I think if you have Jormungand, deer is easier, so as long as RNG isn't too bad. I usually have to reset 3 times per run, 1 per floor on average. So I can definitely feel that, especially for a player that doesn't really have a lot of characters built for the deer. Like Jack Wood said, he's using Trader Melly. I honestly wouldn't even recommend Trader Melly on the deer anymore. I'd only really recommend Trader Melly is if you're not running Jormungand, right? And then Andrew Jones says, I have Miguelda, but I don't like the bird either. I don't know how you're supposed to do the 3rd floor. The bird does too much damage, and the defense is way higher compared to the other 2 floors, so you really need full UR gear, level 100, and Super Awakening on all 4 units, which I don't really think that's true either, because we were able to clear bird fairly consistently with level 100s. It's mainly that you need Miguelda, and her Holy Relic makes your life so much easier, right? But yeah, so that's shout out to Andrew Jones and Jack Wood there. I think it's Grizzly here. Grizzly. Honestly, I feel like deer is easier, but it can sometimes feel harder if you get bad card RNG. Fair play. I do agree. Bird is way easier only because deer's roulette of attributes, but the bird and the deer are on the same level of difficulty when you have their specifically made units for them with a tight bit of luck and RNG cards for the deer. I honestly think it's not just RNG cards for the deer. A lot of people forget that on the bird, if you get the revive passive, or not the revive passive, you get the full heal passive. That's literally the exact passive that the deer has, if you get that passive with the bird. And that passive can definitely ruin runs if your Meliodas does a little bit less damage, on that phase if you don't have enough amplified cards, and that can definitely sway the fight, you know what I mean? So, not to say that bird in general is a lot easier. I do think that deer, if it's not even really passive based either, because even if you don't get any good passes, let's say you get the gauge reduction one too, it's still clearable. I did it on my stream. If you guys watched my stream yesterday, I actually did farm the deer, and I only had to reset in 3 hours. By the way, I only had to reset 2 times on floor 3. Right, I only had to reset 2 times on floor 3. So it honestly just comes down to, if you have the units available, if you're able to cycle through colors, you have to hold on to the 3 colors, right? And then with the bird, it's you just need the damage cards. If you don't top deck melee cards, it's also card RNG based too, you know what I mean? So that can definitely be something that would sway the fight for sure. So shout out to No Mercy there. Inferno here says, deer is an extremely hard RNG PvE based activity if you don't have Snake Lady, but since she got featured in 2 current banners, pretty much you should have. And the other side bird is based on hitting damage cap, and with so much powerful strike options, it shouldn't be a problem either. So okay, that does make sense. A lot of people are able to do basically damage cap on both the bird and the deer now fairly easily. I only think deer, it's a lot more easier because you're getting 60% all stats compared to Miguelda, where she's giving, I think it's 40% all stats at max, so she's not really giving the biggest boost, but she's definitely giving you a pretty good chunk of a boost that you need just to do damage. Andrew Jones here replies, Jonas, and he says, I spent 1,800 on 2 different banners. The Snake Lady was in. The anniversary one had too many SSRs. That's a lower chance to get her. Next banner was Sun God Freyr with about 10 SSR units, and I didn't get the Snake Lady. Unfortunate. And then Ferris Lookman says, literally I've been using Trader Melly, Red Matrona, Green Arthur, and the one for the deer, and I made it to floor 3 phase 4. It's the goddamn painful to go through and play for hours for the perfect RNG just to get the wheel color and rely as much, whereas with the bird it's such a breeze and I can do it first try, no props. Just to tilt it to play phase 3 of the deer rather than play 1 and 2 instead. Just imagine how stupid you have to do to play the wolves as a free-to-play, and phase 3, like, come on, it's not fun and interactive, like, it's just stress and utter BS RNG at this point. So a lot of people like misconstrued the teams that are made for the deer. Trader Melly does ruin runs, bro, in my opinion. Like, if you're running Trader Melly, like on a team like this, you know what I mean, like if you're running I don't know why you put oh no, this is Trader Melly, this is the one. Okay, so if you're running like this right here, these 3 characters are okay, and then you can put on, you know what I mean, like if you have Jormungand, right? Because I think, yeah, because Ferris here is saying that he doesn't have Jormungand, he's doing this, right? That was a team that was able to clear it, but it's super hard. If you have Jormungand, it makes the fight a lot easier. Same with the bird, where if you have Miguel the Trader Melly, it's a lot easier as well. And the thing is, compared to, you know, the deer compared to the bird is like, the bird you need Trader Melly and Miguel. That's 2 unit requirements. With the deer you only need Jormungand. So that's another thing to take into account as well, that I think is a pretty valid point, you know what I mean? So shout out to Ferris there. Sensei says RNG can set you can set deer up and not get the right card draw, and your runs are ruined. Bird has some annoying phase 4 buffs, but they're still manageable. Fair play. You know, if that's how you feel. Nipodum says not having Trader Melly makes bird harder than the deer. I agree. I definitely agree. Right? Andrew Jonas says that's true. His passive saves your other units and increases their survivability. I tried using Brunhild or Sariel instead of Trader Melly, but my 2 units would get wiped because of the lack of UR gear, cosmetics, and super awakening. Trader Melly is indeed a lifesaver, which is very true. Like, if you don't have Trader Melly Miguelda, a lot of your runs on the bird are going to be a lot harder, and you might have to go through the fight based on passives. But it's also like, you know, you could say the same thing for deer, where if you don't have Jormungand, the fight itself is just so hard that's not even worth fighting. So, you know, that's what it kind of comes down to, you know what I mean? And in that scenario, like if we're talking about like if you don't have Jormungand or Miguelda / Trader Melly, then bird is easier still, because there's power strike characters that can go through the fight, whereas with the deer, you know, color cycling without Jormungand is a lot more difficult because you don't do as much damage. But yeah, so shout out to Nipodum there. Reaper says bird is easier, it's not so RNG heavy unlike deer. And then Andrew Jonas says, I strongly disagree. The bird isn't easy, and it's a effing pain to deal with the RNG of saving 3 rank 3 amplified cards. I do not have relics, and I use Trader Melly Freyr to stop the ignites, Migueldan, Matrona, and I can only do floor 1 and 2. Floor 3, stage 1, the bird does like 100k single target damage. My Matrona dies like paper from 2 hits, and my team gets wiped. Floor 1 is way harder for me than floor 2 due to having to save 3 rank 3 cards. It's stupid. Floor 2, I just deal damage, and I don't need to save anything. Fair play. Reaper says you literally provided the answer to the issue in this reply, though. You have no relics. Miguel the relic takes out the RNG factor, and the deer does not have a unit who can do that, in my opinion. That's fair play. That is a fair play. But the thing is with the deer, it's like, I think you should be brute forcing damage on the deer instead of having like a taunt unit and stalling, you know what I mean? I definitely think that having a team that's centered around damage with Jormungand is definitely a better team. If you guys have seen my stream, you know, not to plug, but like if you guys saw my stream where I used you know, like I did the deer, like farming it, I did it for 3 hours, and that team was super consistent, right? And then we had the final comment here being Nitro Noir. He says, I don't know, deer is definitely more annoying though. Fair play, man. So shout out to everyone who gave comments on the poll. Yeah, I definitely appreciate it. I feel like this is a okay you know, ratio here. 80% of the community says bird is easier, while 20% says deer is easier. I think, you know what I'll do, I think I'll wait like a few months from now, and we'll see if this number will actually change, because I think a lot of people, once they get Jormungand and they actually try out the deer and give it a try, will actually see that's not too bad, as long as you know, hold on to your cards and kind of play a little passively compared to the bird, where the bird is still kind of card RNG based, because you still need damage cards with Meliodas. But yeah, man, it really does come down to RNG for both fights, and it's not completely RNG reliant on the deer. So I just wanted to put that through. But like, let me know what you guys think in the comments now. If you do want to participate in these videos in the future, whenever you see a community post from me and I say I'm doing a Grand Cross hot take, definitely make sure to reply if you want to be featured in the video, and then obviously put your vote in so we could see what the ratio is going to look like for the video. So that's going to be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe as always. If you guys want to see more videos like this, definitely let me know in the comment section below, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Peace out and have a great rest of your day.